I'll be back in a moment. This bad boy is from CAMMUS. They are a relatively new company when it comes to sim racing, but they are not a new company when it comes to racing. They're in the go-kart world. They created a electric supercar, hypercar thing. They're involved in other forms of racing as well, but they're amazing. They're doing amazing things, and now they're getting into sim racing. So let me just crack into this bad boy. This is their new wheelbase. It's packaged very well. This came from China. It wasn't drop shipped or anything. We got 2 boxes here. And this one is heavy. Okay, set that down gently. Looks like we got some kind of banner. And let's see what we got. Very cool. This is definitely going on my wall. It says CAMMUS, smart drive with infinite fun. That sounds kind of like some kind of a translation of something else, but I'm with it. This is the wheel, and it looks like it actually saw some water, so it was in some rain, but, you know, that's okay. It's packaged very well. Moisture does get into packaging occasionally. I work at the post office, I know this. No fault of CAMMUS. Okay. So I chose the round wheel. It's leather. Oh, it's really nice. Oh, wow. Wow, that feels really good. Okay, the magnetic paddle shifters are not quite the quality like you'd find maybe on a Fanatec, but they are still satisfying, and they look very adjustable, so that's good. This is the quick release here. I don't know exactly how it comes off just yet. Super nice. I'll give you some close-ups here in a little bit. Encoders feel good. Okay, there is a straight switch. So there's a momentary on the right side, and then there's like a toggle on the left. It feels really good. The leather feels premium. I'm not really into leather. I actually don't like leather in terms of, you know, where it comes from. So we're getting down to the meat and potatoes. I'm gonna cut to where I unravel this 1,000 times. Let's just literally cut to unravel it instead of cutting to unraveling it. I just got off work, so I'm pretty tired, but you know, I felt like I wanted to get this information out as soon as possible. I think this is gonna be big for the market. I really do. At this price point, I'll give you some stats here. This is a 15 Newton meter wheelbase, and they're coming in at a price that's, you know, comparable or undercutting SimMagic, and in some cases, if you think about it, they're undercutting Fanatec with the CSL DD. The only thing that I'm not too fond of so far with this is the fact that this is a heavy wheelbase, which is one of the reasons why I wanted the CSL DD, is because it was smaller. So this might be a bit of an issue, but overall we can make things work. Came with brackets and hardware. What else did it come with? Now this is a standard PC cable. They did include the, I guess, probably a Chinese or European plug, which I can't use. Everybody has an extra PC cable. Let's check out their booster kit. Now that's a booster kit. Oh wow, that's a really nice power supply. Just based on visuals alone. It feels really high quality too, like the plastic doesn't feel cheap. That's nice. What else we got here? We got a USB cable. Looks to be sort of a standard cable. Those of you concerned with electrical interference, it does have a ferrite choke. Packaging is really good also. Like everything's like this sort of high density foam. Jesus, this thing's a beast. Not quite as heavy as like a DD1. So here's some awesome features here. And like I said, I'll do close-ups of all this, but there's buttons on this thing. They're illuminated. We get the power button here. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons on the wheelbase itself. So you can, you know, put ignition, headlights or whatever you want on here. We also have 2 toggles, one on each side. So if you want to like put that as your headlights or something like that, if you know, whatever you want. And then we have 2 encoders. Wow. Very smooth to rotate it. I would compare how smooth this feels. Actually, I might put this above how smooth the CSL DD feels. 0 wobble on the shaft, like the shaft looks like it's dead straight. You know, the actual mounting portion. Similar to the CSL DD, there's mounting slots on each side here. There's only 1 channel as opposed to 2 on the CSL DD, but it's kind of at a central location. And then we have 4 standard mounting points. What do we have on the back? We have the USB connection. We have inputs for the pedal, handbrake, and shifter. So that's coming. Stay tuned. Then we have the power. And the power is a different type of connection, but it shouldn't be a problem. And then RS485. I'm not really sure what that means. And there also is a QR code that you can scan to get some more information about the wheelbase. Super well made. You know, I'm not going to open this up and see the electronics because I really don't know what I'm looking at in terms of that kind of stuff. You know, if it were mechanical inside, I'd be able to look at it and tell if it's quality stuff. But honestly, I have no idea what components, you know, what's good and what's bad. We do not have spring-loaded T-nuts. That's disappointing. I do wish they were spring-loaded. Spring-loaded T-nuts are one of those things like where, at this point, I feel like everything should be spring-loaded. You know, especially if your wheelbase is at an angle, you know, these kind of things can just slide around and cause extra headache. So CAMMUS, if you're watching this, please in the future include spring-loaded T-nuts. I know they're more expensive, and I know you're coming in at a way lower price point, but it's one of those things like where that just shows the customer you care that much more. Good job, CAMMUS, for including everything you need to get this set up. You know, I don't have to go down to the hardware store, take my time away from possibly using this unit. It's all right here. Anyway, 15 Newton meters. The cool thing about this thing, not only can you control this wheelbase with software on your PC, you know, you go to cammus.com, download the drivers and everything, but you can also control it from your iPhone. I don't have an iPhone, so I'm not gonna be able to test this feature. I have an Android, but if you do have an iPhone, you can adjust all your force feedback and stuff on the fly. So say if you have one of those cell phone mounts, you know, that you can mount it on your wheelbase, or, you know, mount it on the side channels if you want, you know, have your phone mounted to the side of it. You can adjust the force feedback levels on your phone on the rig. That's really cool, I think. It's a really nice feature to add. So I'm gonna take all this stuff to the review table and we'll take a closer look at this. Here we go.
And here's the hardware. And here's the USB cable. And here's the wheel hardware. And the brackets. And the booster kit that allows you to use your wheelbase. So let's get to the wheel and wheelbase. Okay. Ooh. She is a beast. I am blown away by the quality and the functionality of this stuff. Like, you know, we haven't plugged it in yet. So, you know, for all I know, this thing could not work at all. But, I mean, based on what I see here, and like, everything's top quality. Let's scoot this thing aside. So the wheel here, I believe, is a 320 millimeter wheel. Like I said, it's leather, got the red stitching, and it's got the red marker up here so you can visually identify if you're centered or not, which is cool. There's aluminum front plate here, and it's got recessed bolts, very nice. Like I said, there's a momentary over here, both ways. Got your little rotary encoders, both sides. They don't have like a ton of definition. They're not like, right? They're like, but you can feel it. You know, if you were in game, you'd be able to feel each click. The buttons are textured. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if you can see the texture, but they're textured for, I guess, better grip. But the texture feels really nice. I have pretty calloused hands. Sometimes I have trouble feeling things, and I don't have trouble feeling these. The buttons are very tactile. It's more of like a round feeling, but you can feel when the button breaks. Like, not breaks like it's broken, but when like you're pressing and you feel it kind of go a little bit extra, and then it kind of has that break feeling, like, right? It requires that extra bit of pressure to get it over that hump. The toggle over here also feels high quality. All the buttons are on there really tight. You can see there's carbon fiber panels here, and there's also carbon fiber paddle shifters. So yeah, let's take a look at this quick release here. There's a little button here that prevents you from undoing it accidentally, which I don't think it'd be even possible, but you have to push it in and then push down, and then you got your little connector here. So you can see that there's missing points right here. These are your reference points, like so when you index the wheel, it locks into the appropriate spot. You can see that the connectors in there are pretty damn beefy, and they are spring loaded. Probably shouldn't have touched those, but you know, I gotta experiment a little bit, right? So one thing I might not have mentioned is that there's a locking system here. So as soon as the wheel is pressed on, this will come up automatically. So you don't have to like pull back to get it to attach, right? So there's this inner ring, this inner silver ring right here. And as soon as I push down on that, you'll see this whole thing come up. Right there. So, okay, let's get first mount here. Okay, so it's down, and now we just have to rotate it until it finds the indexing points, and it'll snap forward. Oh, where is it? There it is. Ooh, that's smooth. Wow. Absolutely no movement. Super solid. Wow, I feel like I've been missing out all this time now. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, maybe it's not amazing. Maybe Fanatec's quick release is just, pure garbage, but like it works. You know, the Fanatec one works. I'm not gonna say it doesn't work. It works. But the level of, wow. The extra amount of confidence you get in this that's amazing. Good job, CAMMUS. Like, I believe this is like an NRG based quick release, or at least a copy of one. I'm not sure if they're just using theirs and coding it with something different. Butter smooth. You know, we haven't plugged it in yet to be able to tell, like, you know, if it's gonna feel notchy or not, but butter smooth, everything feels great. Wow. I'm really impressed. In the next video, we're gonna mount this up and explain all the features, and we're gonna play it in the games. We're gonna do it all. I'm really excited about this. This is gonna be a big product. This is not like something like a fly-by-night company produces. All this stuff is top quality. I can only see this company getting bigger and better. And already we're at an amazing level of quality. Like, this is great. Have a good day. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video. Power supply looks to be pretty damn high quality. There's an indicator light right there to let you know it's on and off. That's helpful. It's a GoJusin 360 watts. The USB cable is pretty standard quality. I wouldn't put it in the low quality category, but I wouldn't put it in the high quality category. It's kind of like, it's gonna get you by, it's gonna work fine. You're not gonna have any issues with it, but it's not like a top quality braided cable or something that has like magnetic shielding or something like that. It looks just like a nice USB cable. And it's 2.0. And this is that connection I was talking about. I'm not really sure what it's called, but I've seen the connection a lot in the electronic world. A little bit of play in the grip here. Not really sure what that's about. It looks like it's a kind of a separate piece. I don't know if it's just to be able to maintain it, or if, they can just pop different heads on and just have it adapt to different situations. But it's still high quality. I don't foresee any problems that are gonna be associated with this power supply. I don't know if you can see the texture. You kind of can. Really nice texture, you can feel it. Nothing's uncomfortable or sharp. You can kind of feel the edge here to know where you're at on the rotaries here. And the power button, super clicky. Both of these are toggles up top here. So all of this stuff is super useful. Like, the more buttons, the better. And so many wheelbases have all this, dead space in these things. Like, it looks cool, like being really simple and elegant, but this is a practical application. You want buttons on your sim racing gear. So I'm gonna use these buttons for navigation, for ignition, for windshield wipers and things like that. But I got options now. Look at all these buttons. I don't need a button box anymore. I'm gonna sell my button box. I don't need it, right? I got buttons on my shifter. I got buttons on the wheel. I got buttons on the wheelbase. That's how it should be. You don't have to buy their specific wheel. You can use any aftermarket wheel with this wheelbase. Because of this shaft here. This shaft allows you to use any standard aftermarket wheel. with the same spacing, of course. So if I wanted to take this button box off and the quick release, I could just mount this wheel straight to the base. It doesn't have a proprietary connection. You don't have to use the extra features like allowing you to use buttons and things like that. You don't have to. You can just use a standard wheel. You know, if you're into drifting or rallying, you don't need a lot of buttons besides like paddle shifters and things like that. You're good to go. You don't need this whole button box. So you can get into this even cheaper. So these actually push down as well. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, basically 14, basically 15 buttons, plus 1, 2, 3, 4 toggles. And this one actually has a middle position too. So there's like an off. Here's something else that's pretty damn cool. I've never seen this before. You can see right here on the side here, these are extra magnets. So there's one right here. Obviously it's mirrored on the other side. This is the first magnetic paddle system I've ever seen where they make it adjustable in terms of how much magnetic resistance is present. So it's really cool. You can actually tune how much resistance you want from your paddle shifters. Or on the flip side, how quiet your shifters are. Because if there's less magnetic snap, then your paddle shifters will be quieter. So anytime you press anything on the wheel or the base, you get some light. Stay tuned.